beloveds. It is the week of January 15th, 2024, and this is my weekly message to you, my beloved SoulTour members. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a breakdown and some insight into what I've been up to and what I'm doing in the business and in my life. One awesome thing I did this last week was to just decide to cast a vote in favor and an investment in favor of having my own world-class studio space set up in my home for both podcasts and videos. As some of you know, like the vision for me has always included a life where I create one New York Times bestselling book per year for the next 50 or 100 years. And for that to happen, you need to, I need to allow you can't really let the content flow in one area and hold it back in other areas. And as y'all know, I am a long form woman living in a short form world, and I am a multimedia woman living in a world of increasingly siloed and like niched down approaches. Most people are like, pick one thing, pick a YouTube, pick a podcast, whatever. I'm kind of going to go all in on making it very, very easy. Here's a lesson. So when I want to create and change my own behavior, I want to build a new habit, or there's a project I want to really get traction on, I generally will pour some time and effort and intention and energy into gearing myself up, intention setting and setting the stage, setting the atmosphere, getting the right equipment to make it super, super, super easy for me to do what it is that I want to do. So I actually called a videographer. Oh, and this is also a little bit in line with how I operate with my human design type. A videographer I've worked with in the past, actually, he did some of the promotional videos for Upgrade last year, really beautiful. Called and said he was in town. Did I want to do a shoot on Friday? And I actually had a bunch of other like house hunting and school shopping, school tour trips I was doing on Friday. And so I said no, and then I was like, wait a second. I want a studio in my home. That's always part of the vision for Farm by the Beach by the city. And even though this property isn't the final property we'll end up in, I was like, I do want a studio. I've been interviewing personal videographers. I loved kind of everybody I interviewed for different reasons. I also had kind of issues with everybody that I interviewed for different reasons. So I decided, regardless of what happens there, a lot of what I want to do is allow what the golden threads and divine downloads to come through when they come through. So you know what I did? I WhatsApp voice memoed him back and was like, hey, do you have time just to set up my home studio? Yeah, I got time. Cool. Do you have your car? Yes, I have a car. Great. So I basically sent him my credit card and a budget. I said, you can go up to X dollars, err on the side of buying things, even if you think I have them. Get me as complete a studio for high quality video and podcast and audio production as you can. And I took a really quick snapshot of what I had in the house already. I came, and he knows how to get into my house because he usually stays here. I came home from school tours Friday afternoon, and he was in my living room setting up the camera, setting up the lights, setting up the audio, setting it all up. So I'm not in there yet because I'm wanting to make some changes to the actual backdrop. And so I'm working on that with my helper here, Mafalda, today. But that's a thing that I've been doing. And I know sometimes some of you have questions about how I, as a projector, I get help. A lot of it is like spotting help that's trying to come to you. There's help all around you. People undoubtedly, I will share from my experience that people were definitely offering me help all the time to get the things done that I wanted to get done that I wasn't even able to see until I was like tuned to the idea that as a projector, it is my job not to do the work. It's kind of like being the ruler that builds the whole empire through magnetism, attracting in the right people, places, things, and resources to swing the hammer, among other things. So videographer called. I said no as a knee jerk, and then I was like, wait, yes. Here's a credit card. Here's a budget. You know how to get into the house. Gave him a couple of decision rules. Told him I need to be able to move the rig between the gym and the living room and the kitchen. All right, so that studio setup. I've also been spending a fair amount of time trying on various school and where I might live combo scenarios. I've been very homeschool curious, I call it, for a really long time. So I had a consult last week with an incredible woman she's a minister. She's written 12 books while homeschooling 6 children, all of whom were adopted and came to her with some significant trauma on board. She was like, very much, you can totally do this. You can totally build your empire and homeschool at the same time. Here's how. I went and visited a Waldorf school a little further south from where we live now in Zimbro, which is a beautiful beach town. House hunted a little bit in the various scenarios, just tried on a bunch of different things, ways we might make this work in my mind. Partially trying to solve for the issue that London doesn't love to get on the school bus every day, and that is definitely an understatement. She's great when she's at school. She's thriving while she's there, but her day is really long because her school is 40 minutes away. So I've been trying to solve for that, and what was interesting is in trying, it's like anything in life, in trying on the various scenarios, I saw beautiful other towns. I was welcomed into whole parent communities. We spent a bunch of time with parents at the Waldorf school. And I kind of came to the conclusion that I already knocked it out of the park. That both her current school setup and the subdivision in which we live are really ideal for us. And what was interesting is, and I'm not saying this is causal, what was interesting is over the weeks where I was trying on, should we go to Almada International School or the music and art school in Setúbal, or the Waldorf school in Zimbra, or homeschool, as I was trying these different things on and feeling various pieces of the decisions I've already made be validated, over time, I would ask London, how do you like your school? And she went from I hate it to I love it, literally in a few weeks' time. So right now we're good. What I am going to do is set some things up in the afternoon so she can get home from school a little bit earlier. And then the day doesn't have to be so long. It doesn't have to quite trigger her separation anxiety or mine so much. I've been writing a lot more and I've been very existential lately, tuning into the why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why do we have the products and programs that we have? Why have I set my life up this way? And largely the answer that comes back to me is so that I might write a New York Times bestseller every year and impact millions and millions of people with the work and the methods that are coming through me. So while I'm doing a bunch of work in the programs, you've seen me a bunch on lives last week, and we'll continue to. We're creating a new manifest challenge for later this month. And I recorded all the ads for that last week, creating a new product called Reclaim, which is like a really short entry-level product. It will be included for all of you who are members of LSM or Empires. I've been doing a lot of work to upgrade my team in the operations area. So hiring a new ops head and a new sort of right hand to me on content, curriculum, social media, design in-house, video in-house, doing some things so that we might put on the roadmap upgrading your experience and your success. In the course of all of that, a lot of downloads are coming through with respect to writing and multimedia. That SoulTour is not just a coaching and consulting company. It's really a multimedia content company as well, with things to bless, the grown ones like y'all, right? Like, be your big self, be coaching that helps you be your big self, do your big dreams before you die, live the life you were born to live, consulting that helps you build the empire of your soul. But we also, I have a heart for children and for the parents that are trying to respectfully, unrepressively parent them. And so a lot of what's been coming through, even as I sat down to do my nonfiction writing on my next book and my fiction writing on my next book for adults, a lot of what's starting to come in is work for children. And so I'll share a little bit about that in a separate video that should be linked to this one called What I'm Doing. It may be linked to this one, or it may come to you next week, but it'll be called What I'm Doing Writing Edition. As I was starting to work, document, I'm doing a lot of documenting too, because now our team is getting bigger and I need to make sure everybody's on the same page about why we do, what our programs and offers are, how to talk about and write about each of the programs. I had this like download about some new imagery and artwork I wanted. And so I sent a note over to Fareed, our designer who created the masterwork and all of the art that you love about SoulTour. And I gave him sort of an update on the SoulTour method and where that's gone, where that's evolved, the spiritual strategy work, the canonical stories like the Bull in the Ring, the true self-mastery codes, which I'm now calling the congruence codes. And he asked, can you shoot a video walking me through all of this? And I was like, that's a brilliant idea. So I sat down and shot actually 2 short videos, really just teaching the big picture context of the body of work that is SoulTour and the SoulTour method and the great recalibration and spiritual strategy and the congruence codes. Although in the video I call them the true self-mastery codes. And so I'm sharing these with you in part because it's transparently how I'm leading my team and growing my team and communicating what I need to communicate, and I want you to see all of that. But more I'm sharing these videos with you because this is your method. This is your toolkit for going from repressed to fully self-expressed. It's your toolkit for mastery. Right? It's your toolkit for creating the life that you were born to live and your toolkit for creating the empire you were born to build. And so I want to just sort of set the whole stage, the context, start from the very beginning, share the whole context with you. And yes, you may have heard it before, but it will be very good to hear it, all summed up in this way. I think it'll be a really good entree into the year we have ahead. All right. I love you and I'll see you soon.